definition of the word ghetto?
I just think of it as like an area of like more or less fortunate, I guess, than everywhere else, and it's like kind of run down and has different like.
But it's not necessarily like
they're giving
one ethnicity of a person, because remember there's Jewish ghettos back in the day and Italian ghettos. So I guess it's just the less fortunate side of everything.
They're giving you the sugar-coated definition. Ghetto in this world, that's people refer to it to like black people are ghetto. They don't refer to it as like Jewish or Italian. All that has to be forgotten. Cut.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Goonsup. So Goonsup, what is your definition of ghetto?
When someone says the word ghetto, I think about graffiti painted walls, kind of poor people, and a lot of gang violence. When someone says ghetto.
Okay. Hello, guys. I'm here with Jasmine. So Jasmine, can you give us your definition of ghetto?
Loud. Very loud, very talkative. Like, you know, like not proper. Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Nielsen. I just have one question for you. Can you briefly tell me what ghetto means to you?
Well, okay, are we talking about in language now, or are we talking about the historical thing? Because I'm a history
Both.
teacher. Okay, so originally comes out of an area where in Europe, Jews weren't allowed to live with the rest of society. So they were segregated in a particular small area that got eventually called the ghetto. It's originally derived from an Italian word. That term has gotten spread out to mean any area where a particular group is kind of confined and forced to live. Generally speaking, if that small group isn't allowed to live with most of the rest of the population, that means economic conditions are pretty bad, living conditions are pretty bad. And so in the United States, that term has been used a lot to describe where African Americans can live in particular cities based on a history of segregation, either by law or then just kind of economic segregation after that. So, does that work?
Yes, it do work. Thank you.
All right.
Hello, Officer White. What's up? What is your definition of ghetto?
My definition of ghetto is either a lower substandard living the condition, you know, in which a person decides to, you know, live in or forced to live in, you know. That's my definition of what's considered ghetto.
Okay.
What is your definition of ghetto?
Well, I would say a neighborhood where the owners of the buildings have allowed them to deteriorate, where the infrastructure is not good. You know, regardless of where it's at, it could be in an urban area or a rural area. You know, I really look at the surroundings of what's going on in that, you know, with the buildings, with the infrastructure, that kind of thing. Is when I think of ghetto, I think of that.
All right. Thank you.
I'm here with Delinda. So Delinda, what is your definition of ghetto?
Abandoned, destroyed buildings that have been defaced by gang signs and graffiti.
Okay. Thank you.
You can ask her that question too.
And what is your Miss Turner?
Mrs. Turner.
Mrs. Turner? Okay, my name is Josh. Oh wait, hold on. Hello, my name is Josh again, and I'm with Mrs. Turner. So Mrs. Turner, what is the definition of ghetto to you?
It's where people are forced to live in unsuitable housing. Most of the time, it's not their own fault. They just can't afford anything better. It's sad. But either they live in the ghetto or they live on the streets. So, I mean, that's my definition of ghetto. It's very poor housing, and so.
Thank you. Can you please give us a brief definition of your definition of the word ghetto?
ghetto is more so, it's an impoverished area with one demographic, but to me it's more so a state of mind and the way you carry yourself, your actions or whatever, because you can be in a certain place, but you can still act quote unquote ghetto is, you know, in which the environment which you came from, and that's my